Good morning, welcome to Sebring Slot Cars. We just finished our first heat of the CanAm race. As this morning, we've just started our first heat, or finished our first heat. We're running the CanAm class. And Mike, wait on me, please. I'm going to introduce it. We're running the CanAm class today. We have Nelson Neto in the lead with 23 laps, Bill Porter 22, Steve Madison, Don Parsons, Victor Abreu, all three tied with 21 laps. Joe Trimper 19 and Phil Yoder with 18. So we're going to go back to racing and see if we can get. All right, Bill Porter's your leader with 45, Nelson Neto 44, Steve Madison 43, Don Parsons 41, Victor Abreu 40, Joe Trimper 39, Phil Yoder 39. JK has a 25,000. JK has a 25. They are fun to drive when they got that big heavy body on them. You don't even like to run CanAm. What are you complaining about? Whoa. Sorry, Joe. Didn't know what lane. What? Track, track, track. Yellow flag. All right. Ready. Here we go again. Go. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Heat over. All right, Bill Porter is your leader by 1 lap over Nelson Neto with 67 to 66, with Steve Madison third place at 65. Don Parsons 61, leading the Sportsman. Victor Abreu at 60, Joe Trimper 59, Phil Yoder 58. Laps that segment: Bill Porter, Nelson, Steve, all with 22. Don Parsons, Victor Abreu, and Joe Trimper all with 20, and Phil Yoder 19. Fast lap, we had Nelson with a 5.257 and Bill Porter with a 5.299. All right, Bill Porter is on white. Second place, Nelson Neto is on black. And third place was Steve Madison on orange. Nelson and Steve are both running the right pair of white Lolas. And Bill Porter is running the red car, little red CanAm. That was Steve Madison, just came off on orange on the donut. Knocked him back a little bit. Lead on. Oh, track. Victor Abreu came off under the bridge. Back in. Play drop. I think that pineapple must have got you out of practice, Phil. I think you drank too much pineapple juice and it's got you out of practice. Bill Porter, still your leader, picked up a lap on Neto and Madison. Bill Porter with 90, Neto with 88, and Madison with 86. In the Sportsman class, Don Parsons, Victor Abreu, and Joe Tremper, Don and Victor with 81, Joe Tremper 80, and Phil Yoder 78. Fast lap, Nelson Neto with a 5.306. Bill Porter was on white, he's moving to red, so if those guys are going to make any time on Bill Porter, this is the heat they got to do it in, because once he's off of red, he's going to be claiming some territory. Excuse me. Orange. Nelson Neto is your current leader with 105 laps. Nope, Bill Porter still is with 106. Nelson picked up a lap. Excuse me, Bill Porter is your leader with a 106. Nelson Neto second place with 105. Steve Madison third place with 102. Steve is on white, Nelson on yellow, and Bill on red. So two of them are side by side, Bill and Steve. Track. That was Steve Madison just came off, giving Bill a little more time on him. Heat is over. That is 5 heats done. All right, so Bill Porter is your leader with 112 laps, one over Nelson Neto. Steve Madison dropped back a couple of laps. Don Parsons with 102, Victor Abreu 101, Joe Tremper 99, along with Phil Yoder. So laps that segment. Nelson Neto had 23 laps that segment, picking up one on Bill and Steve. Bill Porter with 22 laps at heat. Steve Madison, Don Parsons, and Phil Yoder all with 21. Victor Abreu with 20. And Joe Tremper with 19, having trouble with his controller. right, it's heat number 6. We got 3 heats, counting this one.
New lane record for Nelson Nito. New track record for Nelson Nito. Yo! New track record for Nelson. 1 minute left. New track record for Nelson Nito.
Black.
Yellow flag. 20 seconds left. New track record for Nelson Nito. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Track.
Change up. Heat over.
Heat over. All right. Nelson Nito and Bill Porter are tied. Who's ahead on Bill and Nelson? Bill's ahead. Bill leads Nelson by about a half a lap. So we have 135 to 135. Steve Madison is in 3rd place with 129 laps. Don Parsons in 4th with 122. Victor Abreu 120. Phil Yoder 119 and Joe Trimper 118. Joe's controller had a bad brake pod, so he's using another controller now. And so we ought to get that taken care of. Fast laps. Looks like Nelson Nito with a 5.019 with a CanAm car. That's unheard of. Bill Porter with a 5.208. And Steve Madison with a 5.395. In the Sportsman class, looks like Joe Trimper with a 5.516, Phil Yoder a 5.577, and Victor Abreu is a 5.822. Don Parsons a 5.967.
Go! New lane record for Nelson Nito. 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 Yellow flag. Halfway through the race. 1 minute left.
Track.
Go.
Nelson's on the white lane, setting all these track records. He and Bill Porter are still tied. That's Bill on black. That's Don on black. Bill is on blue, I believe. Yeah, there he went. He and Nelson are side by side almost. Nelson just pulled ahead for the first time in a while. And he's starting to open up a little gap. Another lane record. There they are, Joe beside Nelson. Heat over. Nelson Nito with a 158 laps, 1 lap over Bill Porter. Where's Bill's car? Yeah, Bill is right there. He's about 10 feet across from getting the lap, and Nelson's 10 feet past the lap counter. So they're about 20 feet apart. Okay, so we got Nelson with 158 laps, Bill Porter 157, Steve Madison 151, Don Parsons 143, Victor Abreu 141, Phil Yoder 140, Joe 137. Laps that segment. Nelson Neto with 23 picked up a lap on Bill Porter. Bill Porter, Steve Madison each with 21. Don Parsons, Victor Abreu, Phil Yoder all with 21. And I think I said Steve and them had, Bill and Steve each had 22 laps. Joe Trimper had 19. Fast lap goes to Nelson Nito with a 5.127 on white, which is remarkable. Bill Porter a 5.186 on blue. Steve Madison a 5.361. So of your Sportsman, it looks like Phil Yoder had fast lap with a 5.384 and Victor Abreu a 5.555. Listen to Bill Porter. Bill is on purple. He just came off of purple. 3 cars collided down there on the lead on, coming into the front straight. So you had Bill Porter, Nelson Nito, and Phil all crashed together. Joe Trimper on green. There's Steve Madison on blue. He just came off on the lead on. Got on the gas a little too quick. I got a truck car.
1 minute left.
Another car off on the lead on. That was Phil Yoder. It looked like Nelson Nito came off on the donut on red. He's back running. This is an opportunity for Bill Porter to pick up a lap on Nelson. With Nelson on red, we'll see if that happens. Nelson to keep it in the slot, it may not. There they are side by side, going around the donut into the lead on. Nelson pulling away a little bit, Bill catching him on the bank. There. Looks like Bill's starting to pull ahead a little bit. Nelson in the white car, Bill in the red car right here. Nelson just came off after setting a lane record. He came off, gave about a half a lap to Bill coming off. And somebody's off in the front straight. All right, well, at least you didn't lose any laps on that last one. All right, Bill Porter took over the lead. Bill picked up 2 laps on Nelson. Bill Porter wins the race in the last heat, 180 to Nelson Neto's 179. Steve Madison 172. Don Parsons 164, Philip Rue 162, Phil Yoder 160, and Joe Trimper 159. All right, I'd like Bill Porter, Nelson